Hey, what's up, fam? My name is Brehon, and I would like to welcome you guys back to the channel where we love to focus on financial and personal development. Now, family, before I get started with the video, I'd like to give you guys a word out of a book that I'm currently reading out of my library, The Magic of Thinking Big, a phenomenal book. I think everyone should have this book in their library. Now, if you're interested in this book, the link will be in the description. All right, now here it goes. Use positive words to outline plans to others. When people hear something like this, here is some good news. We face a genuine opportunity. Their minds start to sparkle. But when they hear something like, whether we like it or not, we got to get the job done. We got a job to do. The mind movie is dull, boring, and they react accordingly. Promise victory and watch eyes light up. Promise victory and win support. Build castles, don't dig graves. So, family, life and death is in the power of your tongue. So use your words to build people up. All right? Use your words to build up your dreams and your goals and ambitions. All right? Now, family, the votes are coming in. Now, on this channel, we don't debate politics, right? We don't debate whose party should be winning based on what, whose party should be in control based on this. What we want to do is we want to figure out which party is going to win, which party is in control, and how can we win? Because it doesn't matter which party is in control, we are going to win regardless. We are going to succeed regardless. And like I said a minute ago, life and death is in the power of your tongue. So it doesn't matter who has the House. It doesn't matter for me who has the Senate, because at the end of the day, I am going to win. I am going to succeed. And so if we all have that mindset, we all would know that there is absolutely nothing that can stop us. Okay. Now, it appears that the Republicans, or actually the Senate, I'm thinking that the Senate is actually going to end up in a deadlock tie. I think let me see, let's take a look at the House. It appears that the House will gain control. So more than likely we could have a Republican House. The Senate could be deadlocked. We're going to have to wait and see how these things play out. A lot of states are too close to call. So with that being said, with the House being in control, the House will probably be able to bring forth the Republican agenda, right? And so here are some of the things that I've taken off of the page that the Republicans are having issues with or trying to address. So let's see if we can unpack some of this information. And so it says they're going to fight inflation, lower the cost of living. Everyone knew that wasteful Washington spending would spur inflation. Millions in hardworking taxpayer dollars were sent to luxury resorts, ski slopes, and even stimulus checks to prisoners like the Boston Marathon bomber. Yet, after more than a year of crushing inflation, Democrats still have no plan to solve it. Americans can't afford Democrats' policies, but we are certainly all paying for them. All right, so total government spending has increased by over $9 trillion since February 2021. In June, inflation had increased nearly 550% under this administration. Year over year, food prices are edging up 13.5%, the largest increase ever. All right. And so the Republicans say we have a plan to fix the economy and revive the American dream. Curb wasteful government spending that is raising the price of groceries, gas, cars, and housing, and growing our national debt. Increase take-home pay, create good-paying jobs, and bring stability to the economy through pro-growth tax and deregulatory policies. All right, now we got to be honest. When it comes to the economy, when it comes to inflation, there isn't much the Democrats can do. There isn't much the Republicans can do. the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, it is his sole responsibility to gauge the price of foods, the price of goods, the price of interest rates. And if Jerome Powell would have made the decision years ago to increase interest rates, we wouldn't be in this serious situation that we are in right now. So it's not a Democrat thing, really not a Republican thing. The Fed has failed the American people. And so now what they need to do is continuously raise interest rates. And so the more they raise interest rates, the more they get to, the more you're going to have to pay on your credit cards, the more interest you're going to have to pay on mortgage on your homes, and the more interest you're going to have to pay on automobiles. And as a result of that, the Fed has an opportunity to take money out of the government, right? So they take money out of circulation. In June, July, and August, the Fed was supposed to have taken out $100 million over a 3-month period. But how much money did they take out? They only took out $40 million, right? And so going forward, starting in, I think, October, the Fed was allocating or set new requirements that they were going to start taking out $90 million per month out of the economy. Now, if they couldn't take out $100 million in 3 months, what makes us think they're going to take out $90 million per month, right? So again, it's not a Democrat thing, not a Republican thing. The Fed is failing the American people. And as a result, the American people are going to have to pay for it. All right. Strengthen the supply chain. Independence on China. All right. Nearly 80% of small businesses said supply chain issues had persisted or gotten worse in the last 3 months. 70%. In June, baby formula was out of stock in over 70% of the country. Fertilizer prices have increased 30% in 2022 after increasing by 80% in 2021. Now, we have a plan to restock our shelves and get the goods that people want or people need, right? Move supply chains away from China, expand U.S. manufacturing, enhance America's economic competitiveness and cyber resiliency. Now, as we all know, well, some of you guys may not know that, throughout this year, China was hit very, very hard with the coronavirus right near its ports. And so as a result, China had to shut down operations. They had to close their ports. They had to lock down all surrounding towns. And as a result of that, you had hundreds of vessels right outside the China ports that couldn't be loaded. They couldn't be loaded because they didn't have anyone to manufacture the goods. They didn't have anyone to load the barges onto the vessels, right? And so, they didn't have the people available to load the containers onto the vessels. And so, as a result of that, we had a chokehold in the supply chain. And they talk about bringing U.S. manufacturing here. That's an ongoing issue, right? Now, how do you make that happen? Now, one of the reasons, the last guy that was in office, he had the best plan. And he had a plan that most people didn't like. The Democrats didn't like it. And his Republican Party buddies didn't like it. And that was to increase tariffs on China. Because when you really think about it, right? When we export our goods, we have to pay export taxes on those goods. But anytime we have goods imported to us, the surrounding countries, the Mexico, the China, the Taiwan, they pay zero import taxes. And so that isn't fair. So you can pay people $1 an hour and not pay any import taxes. And then you get to come over here and sell the products at low prices. But if you hold China accountable, force them to pay export to import taxes, force them to pay taxes to the point where business owners that have businesses set up in China will say, hey, you know what, man, we're paying so much taxes. It makes no sense manufacturing goods in China. Let's bring those things back over here to the US. And so the last guy was actually doing that, and he was bringing manufacturing jobs back. But again, all that stuff got hit, and President Biden, his focus is on new green infrastructure. So, his manufacturing was based on, green infrastructure. So I'm quite sure, the income of the House, the Republican Party, may be focusing on things of that nature too. So, but we're going to have to wait and see how things play out. All right. Make America energy independent. Reduce gas prices. Gas prices shot up more than 60% under the current administration. While the Biden administration canceled leases and discouraged oil and gas production on day one, President Trump and President Obama each approved 10 times as many leases during the same period of their presidency. Electricity prices are up 20% since Joe Biden took office. And now this is something that I agree with. President Obama and President Trump both agree that we should be producing oil on U.S. soil, right? And the one and only reason why the oil prices have been coming down since March has been because President Biden released 1 million barrels of oil per day into the market. Right. And so that's how we were able to get the gas prices lower. But now we see the gas prices creeping back up. And something else that we have to consider is, how are we going to replenish our oil reserves? Right. Are we going to have to get oil from Russia? Are we going to have to get oil from in Saudi Arabia? Are we going to have to get oil from Saudi? So that's another thing that we're going to have to deal with, replenishing our oil reserves after Biden has been releasing 1 million barrels per day. All right. So that's a little bit of it. There's a lot of fluff in there. There's a lot of things the Republican Party are saying that they want to do that they simply can't do. They simply have no control over some of these things. But I just wanted to bring that to you. Right. I just wanted to bring that to you. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to end the video there. I was going to go into the stock market because I know that yesterday, days leading into the election, the market expected the Republican Party to have just a unanimous sweep of the House and the Senate. And as a result of that, the stock market was creeping up. But then once things began slowing down, let me see here. If I can close this out here. Now, once they saw that things were going down, we wasn't getting the expected sweep. We saw that it was going to be an uphill battle. We had a nice sell-off there, but after overnight, people are starting to see that, hey, Senate may be deadlocked. The Republicans will have the House. We will have a new speaker. And so now the market is up, man. It is up almost $10 going into pre-market. So again, it's going to be another wild and wacky day in the market. Now, there may be opportunities to make some money. Now, I will definitely be looking at some possible call options. Being up $10 pre-market is a lot of money. That's a huge price jump. So there may be some opportunities for some puts where the market will come back down. We profit from there. And then if it goes back up, we place our call options and we profit either way. Now, this video is much longer than I wanted it to be, but I hope I added some value to you guys. Hey, hit that like, subscribe button, and keep coming back for more wealth building information. Peace.